Is Russia's Putin ready to join the Iran war in the Middle East after US President Donald Trump's latest threat to Iran? Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi hold phone call as Trump publicly threatened Iran over Hormuz in profane terms. Is Donald Trump left stunned by Russia and China's joint threat to intervene for ally Iran after the United States revealed its megastrike plan? Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said he held a phone call on April 5 with Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov. Araghchi told Lavrov that the United States and Israel had committed what he described as crimes against Iran, according to Press TV. Press TV reported that the two also discussed US threats against Iranian energy infrastructure. The Iran-Russia call came amid President Donald Trump's threat of unprecedented strikes if Iran did not reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Trump wrote online, "Open the Strait, you crazy or you'll be living in hell." Trump also threatened to hit Iranian power plants and bridges on April 7 if the Strait of Hormuz remained shut. Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, which handles about 1/5 of global oil flows, has driven a major energy crisis and price shock. Press TV reported, and I quote, Araghchi on Sunday condemned the repeated US and Israeli aggressions that have targeted Iran's industrial and production infrastructure, hospitals, schools, residential neighborhoods, as well as its nuclear facilities and scientific centers. He stressed that these barbaric attacks represent flagrant violations of international law and basic humanitarian norms, and demanded urgent action from relevant international bodies, especially the United Nations Security Council and the International Atomic Energy Agency, to officially condemn the crimes and bring the aggressors to justice. The top Iranian diplomat also pointed to recent US threats against Iran's energy facilities, describing the provocative rhetoric as an open and shameless admission of intent to commit war crimes. Araghchi further called on all influential members of the UN Security Council to adopt a responsible position rooted in international law and to block any attempt by the United States to misuse the Security Council as an instrument for its unlawful agendas. The Russian foreign minister reaffirmed Moscow's consistent and principled stance in strongly condemning the US and Israeli military aggression against Iran. He underscored the imperative of immediately halting illegal attacks on civilian targets, particularly the Bushehr nuclear power plant, and urged all sides to seize every diplomatic opportunity to prevent the expansion and spread of the conflict. Unquote. On the same day, Lavrov also held talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang. China's UN envoy said the two sides discussed the current situation in the Middle East. Fu Song said, and I quote, Wang told Lavrov China and Russia, as permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, should uphold fairness on matters of right and wrong and adopt an objective and balanced approach. Wang Yi and Sergey Lavrov stressed the need for a ceasefire as the fundamental way to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and argued that military operations must cease immediately. Unquote. Meanwhile, Iran said any US attack on its energy sites would trigger reciprocal strikes.
Iran's reaction would be one of reciprocating any such attack. Our armed forces have made it clear that in case Iran's infrastructure is attacked, we would react in kind. Our armed forces would target any similar infrastructure that is owned or in any way or manner related to the United States or contributes to their act of aggression against Iran. This is not something that we will do it voluntarily or by willful decision. This is something that is as part of our defense measures against their illegal act. I guess the American people have come to understand that this is not their war. This is a war of choice by the United States administrations, perhaps on behalf of a genocidal regime in our region. The fact that they poured into the streets of different states and cities of the United States indicate the fact that they're not supporting this war of aggression by their administration against Iran. Everyone, not only in our region, but also globally, including in the United States, recognize that this war is illegal. This is a war imposed on a civilizational state for no reason. This is a war based on a lie that Iran is pursuing nuclear weapon, something that has never existed, a lie that there was an imminent threat on the part of Iran against the American people. That's simply untrue. They know that there was no such threat from Iran to the United States. The lie that they simply wanted to help the Iranian nation. Yes, they are helping Iranians with death and destruction. They killed in one single incident, as they call it. It was not an incident, it was a deliberate attack on elementary school in the city of Minat. The same day that they also targeted a sport hall in La Mer, Fars, killing 21 persons. So in a matter of less than 1 hour, they slaughtered more than 200 innocent girls and boys. So these are the conduct of American administration. And I think these war crimes are recorded in the name of the United States people. I think the United States people do not favor, do not approve of these atrocities. They are against these atrocities. The American administrations have been threatening Iran for the past 48 years. Iranians have shown maximum steadfastness and determination to continue their rightful path, which is safeguarding their right to self-determination, safeguarding their sovereignty, as well as their dignity. These threats are simply an indication of a criminal mindset. This is an express public incitement for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And I would say for genocide, because threatening to attack a country's critical infrastructure, energy sector, it would mean that you want to put at risk the whole population. And this is nothing less than war crimes and crimes against humanity. But apart from that, because it seems that this administration doesn't care about law or logic or basic tenets of morality. As far as Iranians are concerned, we are determined to defend our national security and sovereignty with all might. We have shown, not only during the past 37 days, but also throughout this whole almost 5 decades, that Iranians are very patriotic and are prepared to fight back their enemies. Everyone got their lesson from this brave act of defense against the aggressors. For 35, 36 days, they propagated the idea that Iranians' defense capability has been neutralized. After 35, 36 days, our armed forces showed that our enemies are facing another miscalculation.